ॐ भद्रं कर्णैभिः शृणुयाम देवा भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः तुष्टुवागंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Let us now pray together. So pray loudly. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord, who is the origin of the universe. Lord, thou abidest in all. Thou art all. Thou assumest all forms. Thou art the origin and goal of all. Thou art the self of all. Thou art existence, knowledge, and bliss. Salutations unto thee. May the world be peaceful. May the wicked become gentle. May all creatures think of mutual welfare. May their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for peace, peace, peace be in. Welcome, friends. Today we are having from morning uh, the celebration for Holy Mother's birthday, and this is a very important part of that celebration to think about the message of Holy Mother uh, from various mouths, from those who have been studying and practicing that message in their lives. So, this symposium is always a wonderful source of a proper uh, attitude, proper angle to see Holy Mother. So I had always found great delight in listening to these symposiums. Uh, so, and I'm sure today will not be an exception to the rule. We will begin. Uh, yeah, we will begin uh, uh, with a symphony rather than symposium. Peter Travisano will lead us into a beautiful song on Holy Mother composed by Shravani. So you can join in singing. Actually, he had sung that song earlier also during the daytime, but it doesn't lose anything in repetition.
So let us put that question to Mother, hoping to extract the answer. Tell me, Mother, who thou art. 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 When this world sore burns the heart, your loving light showers forth, showing us the way to go to find supreme bliss and truth. Is that why you came to us? Is that why you took this birth? Is that why you felt my pain and told the tale of birthless life? mother, who thou art. Tell me, mother, who thou art. Tell me, mother, who thou art. Tell me, mother, who thou art. Is that why the Master bowed at your feet with all his awe? Is that why he gave us you to find the peace no words can tell? Is that why saints crave to touch your holy feet that cleanse the mud? They humbly serve your sublime life, all so pure and full of divine. Tell me, mother, who thou art. 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 Longing for that blessed time, your shining face enlightens the mind, sending darkness not to return. Come, mother, bless your child. Come, mother, take your child. Tell me, mother, who thou art.
Oh, Namo Namah. Salutations to that Holy Mother who is the embodiment of purity, whose life is pure, and her very nature was purity. Pavitrata Swarup. Salutations to his purity. So, on this very auspicious day, we have these three wonderful young minds who will be giving their thoughts about how they look upon Holy Mother, how they get benefited by that, and thus we will also be able to see light from their angle. There are various angles of looking at something. So that is the beauty of symposium, that we get different looks. It is, and thus our understanding becomes better, wider, more multi. So we have uh, our friend Chris Bartolotta, who has been coming here for about 5 years now, or 6 years. No, four. Okay, 3 or 4. Okay. Mm. And then uh, Marianne, she has been actually coming here comparatively for a short time, but she has been associated with Ramakrishna movement. They for a long time at Calgary in Canada. And then we also have this third speaker, Kannamai Chappan. She has been going to Vivekananda Vidyapit in now for a long time. And so, as, as it were, she grew up with all these thoughts, all these ideas in her own way. So now we begin with Chris Bartolotta, because he insisted that he wants to speak first. I said, well, okay, what can I? If you want to speak first, that's fine with me. The others will get a little more time. Okay, please welcome. Welcome, Chris.
My talk is going to be on Holy Mother. Although we usually speak of the Guru as Shiva and in male terms, in my heart I've always felt it easier to think of Guru as mother. When I think of the compassionate love of the spiritual teacher, it seems obvious to me that this is a mother knows that a child can do nothing on their own, can give nothing in return, and yet she will care for them. To a mother, a son is always a son. The love of a mother is called the highest form of love we can understand, and that is why we worship God as such. In the life of Sri Ma Sharda Devi, we find the same love of Guru and Mother manifest to its fullest extent. It is through this blending of roles that we can better understand that the Guru and Ishta are one. Swami Gambhirananda says that whenever she appears to us as the mother, we get also a glimpse of her inherent power of imparting that true knowledge that dispels all ignorance. When we approach her as a Guru, she draws us to her lap as a mother, and when we want to recognize the mother and Guru in her, we find her seated transcendently in her divine effulgence. In fact, we cannot discern where any of these mutually dependent aspects ends and another begins. To the aspirant, the Guru is one with their beloved. He is nothing less than the supreme Brahman. Luckily for us, this line gets blurred even more when God becomes the incarnation, taking on human form. That which is beyond description appears as man, able to be adored. It is through these great world teachers that we are shown the path of spiritual life by example. Holy Mother is a unique one of these guides. She is adored by devotees as Divine Mother, and yet also initiated disciples, stepping down to our level as it were, putting aside her true nature. As she assumed both the roles of a mother and teacher outwardly, we become her children and her students, her devotees and disciples. You could argue that all incarnations are the mother, father, divine, and teacher, but I like to play favorites. Plus, Holy Mother left no room for argument or interpretation to this. Those who sought spiritual guidance from her were also fed by her own two hands. This sweet personal element is her mighty lion which subdues the ego, leaving us like infants at her feet. On one hand, she assures us in a very mundane language, never fear. Whenever you are in distress, you say to yourself, I have a mother. But then again, Sri Ramakrishna tells us that she is Sharda, Saraswati. She has come to impart knowledge. She is descended by covering up her beauteous time. She is full of the rarest wisdom. She is the giver of the highest knowledge and the greatest well-wisher of mankind. After all, to truly love someone is to want what is best for them, and what could be better than the gift of bhakti and jnana? Three qualifications are given for the Guru. They must understand the spirit of the scriptures, be of pure conduct, and be free of selfish motives. Easily we can find these at first glance of Mother's life. Being a knower of Brahman herself, all her teachings were geared towards the development of devotion and spiritual knowledge of the sadhakas. She stated that the aim of life is to realize God and remain immersed in contemplation of Him. God alone is real, and everything else is false. Her simple utterances contain the highest wisdom of Vedanta. She is hymned as the embodiment of purity itself. She would pray, O Lord, there are stains even on the moon, but let my mind be absolutely stainless. Seeing her beloved in all, every action was worship. Where there was only one, there could be no room for any reproachful actions. Disregarding social backlash, financial circumstance, and often even her own physical well-being, she granted initiation and gave guidance to countless devotees who had come seeking refuge in her. Rather than having anything to gain, the workload only increased by taking in this new child. So we can see hold so we can see so we can see Holy Mother easily meets this criteria, but these aren't what we think of when we think of the Guru. At least I don't. As I said earlier, I think of the motherly aspect. This to me is unalloyed love, a love characterized by causeless compassion and grace. The scriptures say that it is out of compassion alone that the Guru gives the mantra, for he is compassion incarnate. Before I go any further, I have to note that Sri Ramakrishna might object to me calling Holy Mother compassionate because he said, of course, a parent will take care of the child. Why should you call that compassion? But this would derail my talk, so I'm going to keep calling her compassionate. Her nature was to dive into samadhi, but she tethered herself to this world to spread knowledge. She told the disciple, my mind that tries to soar day and night, I keep down through compassion for these people. While Thakur used petty desires like food and water to bring the mind back, Holy Mother was able to keep her mind down by compassion. She declared herself to be the mother of the virtuous and the wicked, of all creatures high and low, and that she did not know anyone, not even an insect, for whom she does not feel compassion. As such, her heart melted at the sufferings of all. She was pained even by the cries of a calf for its mother, to which she went running to console. But you could say her greatest act of love and grace was to grant initiation to those who approached her. The Guru's love is expressed in this great act of compassion. Out of compassion for the suffering soul, the teacher gives the key with which one unlocks the door. By giving Diksha and blessing devotees, her giving Diksha and blessing devotees was her greatest act of love. But even after giving this much, she performed japa and prayed for all on their behalf, just as a mother does the work while her children play. Another similarity we find is approachability. The teacher introduced us to the Ishta. It's a human connection to that beyond reason. Although we of course take Holy Mother to be Adya Shakti and worship her as Sarvadeva Devi Swarupanye, there is no grandeur in her form. Even in Thakura, we imagine him reeling always in samadhi. But Mother just sits before us and smiles. It's this humanness that makes both the teacher and Holy Mother feel like our own. She herself said that the excessive manifestation of divinity creates fear in the minds of devotees. They cannot feel intimate. So by foregoing her extra arms and putting down her sword, she becomes more approachable for us. Without such splendor, there can be a better sense of mindness. Unlike any other saint, she worked in this world like a householder, always in the midst of worldly problems. The teacher treads the path he lays before us, otherwise how could we take his direction? She performed japa day and night. As the head of her ever-expanding household, her job was never-ending. Her day was spent in cooking, cleaning, and caring for others. Yet she did all this as worship and never let go of the ideal. This struggle and understanding of the world is what makes the teacher an apt guide to us. Feeling that they truly understand our sorrows, we can approach them confidently. Sri Ma Sharada is the manifestation of divine motherhood. Therefore, she is also the greatest manifestation of the Guru. The attributes of the Guru and Holy Mother seem to be synonymous to me. Her tender heart, always granting us unflinching love, binds her to us. Making us her own, she acts both as the teacher, imparting knowledge, and the divine mother to be realized, thus helping us to understand that Guru and God are one, Guru and Holy Mother are one. Jai Ma.
Many thanks, dear Chris. It was a very beautiful, touching exposition of this two facets, two sides of this, the Holy Mother, Mother, and Guru, teacher, all very well combined. And that he pointed out that uh, very important feature that gave her, gave us the approachability. And the Guru may have a very stern face, maybe a very enlightened soul, but then you will not like to approach, you will be scared. Shall I go, ask or not? But that Guru, having taken the form of a loving mother, makes things very different. Approachability, very important point. So, thank you very much. Now we will have the uh, presentation or speech by Marianne. Marianne is a data scientist. Am I right? Huh? Bio biostatistician. Okay, she is a biostatistician. For me, these terms are not very understandable. It is, yeah, but okay, yeah, it is. Uh, there are biostatisticians and there are non-biostatisticians. So it is. So she is a biostatistician and a very nice person. So I requested her. So she hesitatingly agreed, yes, I will speak. Okay, yeah. So please, Marianne.
Good evening, everyone. Today, I would like to talk about the relationship between Sri Ramakrishna and Sri Sarada Devi through my perspective. Let me start by saluting Holy Mother. Janani Sarada Devi Ramakrishna Jahat Gurum Pada Padme Tayo Shritava Pranamami Muhur Muhur. Taking shelter at the feet of Sarada, the Universal Mother, and Ramakrishna, the teacher of the world, I salute them again and again. When Sri Ramakrishna was 23 years old, he had his first vision of the Divine Mother, Kali. After this, he was quite enamored, and people thought of him as a strange man. So his mother suggested that if he got married, it would drift him away from his spiritual desires. Sri Ramakrishna suggested marrying Sri Sarada Devi. Sri Sarada Devi at the time was very young, and she was the eldest of 6 children. She spent most of her time helping her mother in various household chores, like caring for the younger children, looking after the cattle, and carrying food to her father and others engaged in work in the field. However, she was unlike most girls her age. She was into prayer and meditation, often known to offer flowers to deities. So in May of 1859, Sri Sarada Devi got married to Sri Ramakrishna. It was not until 1867, truly though, that Sri Sarada Devi met and stayed with Sri Ramakrishna in Kamarpur. I believe this was truly the start of their relationship. And I really feel that their relationship had 2 distinct levels, the spiritual and worldly aspect. The spiritual aspect were like roots of a tree, while the worldly duties they performed were like leaves on a tree. What I would like to emphasize is that though their relationship was spiritual based, they showed that a husband and wife can show love and care for one another through means that do not require pleasure in life. It was during this day that Sri Ramakrishna was already a sannyasi. His guru had told him, "This is a real test. Your mind must not wander away from God." These words really struck with Sri Ramakrishna, and he made sure to fulfill his duties of educating Sri Sarada Devi. He taught her how to complete household duties and spiritual matters. Sri Sarada Devi felt an abundance of unspeakable love from Sri Ramakrishna at this time. She said on this experience, "I felt as if a vessel full of divine bliss was permanently installed in my heart. I cannot adequately describe the heavenly joy which filled my heart." When she left him, her thoughts were centered around Sri Ramakrishna and she wanted to be with him. So 5 years later, Sri Sarada Devi traveled to Dakshineshwar. However, when she was traveling, she fell ill. This was a time when people were judging Sri Ramakrishna as well, saying that he has gone mad. However, she was surprised to see him caring for her during her illness. When she stayed there, he made sure to complete his duties as a husband, even though Sri Ramakrishna would constantly go into samadhi. This truly shows us how we can embody a spiritual life and complete the duties that we have in this world. While she was staying in Dakshineshwar, Sri Ramakrishna asked Sri Sarada Devi whether she came to bring him to the worldly life. She responded, "No, I'm here to help you realize your chosen ideal." Sri Sarada Devi was always attentive in taking care of Sri Ramakrishna, making sure he would eat enough as he did not like to have large quantities of food. She would often worry about him as Sri Ramakrishna would constantly go into samadhi during the night, to which he often had very little sleep. Sri Ramakrishna was her spiritual teacher, and he taught her everything from spiritual practice to mannerisms. Sri Ramakrishna and Sri Sarada Devi had a very unique relationship, which was rooted in spiritual means. When when Sri Sarada Devi was massaging Sri Ramakrishna's feet one night, Sri Sarada Devi asked him, "How do you look at me?" He responded, "The mother, who is the deity in the temple, the mother who gave birth to me and now resides in Nahabad, and even now is massaging my feet. I look upon you in that light, as the embodiment of motherhood." Sri Ramakrishna emphasized the importance of alignment between one's words and actions. Sri Ramakrishna truly saw Sri Sarada Devi as a divine mother, as Kali. There was a puja held for the Divine Mother on an auspicious day in May. Sri Ramakrishna had set up a puja area in his room to perform at twilight. He also prepared a seat for the deity in the puja area. As it came time for Sri Ramakrishna to perform the puja, he sat for worship. Sri Sarada Devi came and watched as he started to perform the puja. The devotional atmosphere through Sri Ramakrishna's worship made Sri Sarada Devi become semi-conscious. As he continued his worship, Sri Ramakrishna asked Sri Sarada Devi to sit in the place set up for the Divine Mother, and she sat in that place that was set for the Divine Mother. Sri Ramakrishna continued the puja and went into complete samadhi. They both joined with the Absolute before becoming conscious and coming back to their worldly senses. Sri Ramakrishna also knew of the spiritual capabilities Sri Sarada Devi had. He would give her instructions just as he would to his disciples. Once, he asked Sri Sarada Devi, "Am I to do everything alone, and will you not do anything?" The Holy Mother asked, "What can I do?" He responded, "You can do a lot." They were also aligned in their values, especially in the renouncement of worldly items. There was a time when a devotee suggested adding money to Sri Ramakrishna's bank account. He quickly refused, but just to test Sri Sarada Devi, he asked her. She quickly refused as well. Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother took care of everyone like they were their own children. They helped them with all their issues, wants, and needs to their ability. Sri Sarada Devi is said to be the first disciple of Sri Ramakrishna during his spiritual phase in his life. The Master has said this about the Holy Mother: "She is my power. Without her, I could not even lift a finger." Holy Mother was a consecrated wife, spiritual companion, first disciple, and was working as the hidden power behind Sri Ramakrishna's work and mission. Sri Ramakrishna and Sri Sarada Devi's relationship shows us that we can also put importance on spiritual practice and do the tasks required in this world, such as going to work and taking care of the family. They were a married couple that put God first in everything they did and made sure to root their relationship in God. They also showed love and care towards one another through their actions. I felt it may be fitting to conclude with a hymn by Swami Appanananda, a great disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, who addressed this to the Universal Divine Mother, revealed through Sri Sarada Devi. Let us meditate in the lotus of the heart on Mother Sarada, of golden hue, seated cross-legged, half of her disheveled hair flowing down the chest, wrapped in white cloth, wearing golden bracelets, with two palms crossed and resting in the lap, of steady gaze, with visage beaming with grace, and heart beaming at the sorrows of living beings, radiant light of purity, the boundless, come for the good of all, with life centered in Sri Ramakrishna and mind, ever delighting in his thought, verbally an embodiment of his ideas, manifestation of universal motherhood, overflowing with universal benevolence, goodness and peace, bestower of all devotion and salutation, redeemer of all jivas, giver of divine knowledge.
That was a very nice discussion, Marian. It is very good to study this connection between Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother. One very beautiful uh, analogy or simile has been given about their externally being two, internally being one. Like we have two eyes, two eyes, but we see the same thing, by one eye. Not that by one eye I am seeing Charlie and another I am seeing Peter. It is the two eyes, they are working together in tandem. Although they are two, it is they just create one homogeneous vision. So, and they do not have any direct physical contact, the two eyes, in that sense, never meet. They are separated by this barrier. So, it is not like uh, two windows for one eye, like a crow. A crow has actually only one eye, but on the two sides there are two openings. So sometimes crow has to see like this or like this. This is not with human eyes. They are two, and yet they bring one complete vision. It is if one is not functioning, then the vision becomes a little altered, a bit different. So that is why these two, they together perform this job of an incarnation to show the goal and show the way. Especially when it comes to showing the way, it was Holy Mother who uh, did that. That is how she brought out that beautiful conversation that Sri Ramakrishna asks, tells her that, well, after all, what this, pointing to his body, what this has done, you have to do much more. And actually, at that time, Holy Mother probably, at least from any external evidence that we can see, she didn't uh, understand or agree to this kind of uh, opinion. In fact, she retorted, well, what can I do? I am an illiterate woman. But Sri Ramakrishna knew, and that vision unfolded in front of Holy Mother in due course. That what great thing she did. I always believe, without Holy Mother's life, we all would have struggled to bridge this terrible gap between our, our life in this world, relative life, and our absolute goal. It is Holy Mother that shows us that how in day to day activity, without giving up this spiritual ideal, one can uh, act exactly according to one's position in life, the duties that we have to carry on, and there is no compromise, many compromise between the two. No, in Holy Mother's life, no compromise. And she presents both these ideas so well. So now we will have the third and the last speech in this symposium. Karnamai Pichappan. She is a freshman at MIT there in. So please, Karnamai. Um,
Pranam. Today, I thought we can discuss Holy Mother's final message vocalized to the world. If you want peace, do not find fault with others. Rather, learn to see your own faults. Learn to make the world your own. No one is a stranger, my child. The whole world is your own. Holy Mother begins by giving instructions for if we want peace. I think it's safe to say that everyone appreciates peace. We want peace from the hands of greed, jealousy, hatred, ego, and more. Ravrajika Viraja Pranaji from the Vedanta Society of Northern California explains in an essay that peace requires self-sacrifice. She writes that in The Imitation of Christ, a devotional book published in the 1400s, the author, Thomas à Kempis, remarks that all people desire peace, but very few desire those things that make for peace. This prompts us to not only acknowledge that we want peace, but to think about what is necessary for that peace. Holy Mother's first instruction is do not look into anybody's faults. Mother once told a disciple, to err is human. One must not take that into account. It is harmful for oneself. One gets into the habit of finding fault. Do not look for fault in others, or your own eyes will become faulty. This line reminded me of what we discussed during the young adult retreat this summer. Swami Yogatmananda Ji explained that real selfishness is doing what is truly good for us, and this is also good for those around us. Based on this idea, since finding fault in others is harmful for us because it will make our eyes faulty, let us strive to not find fault in others. Everything we think, say, and do creates an impression on our mind. When we think, say, or do something good, we leave a good mark on our mind. On the other hand, when we think, say, or do something bad, we leave a bad mark on our mind. Over time, these impressions grow and control us through our instincts. With this teaching, Holy Mother, as our loving mother, is urging us to leave an abundance of good marks on ourselves and develop good instincts by not finding faults in others. Holy Mother then continues with the next set of instructions. Learn to see your own faults. Another reason that occupying ourselves with finding faults in others is bad is that it prevents us from finding our own faults and bettering ourselves. Sometimes we may even find faults in others to make us feel better about ourselves. In fact, without realizing it, we may even find non-existent faults in others sometimes, just to avoid coming to terms with our own faults. This made me think, how much valuable time and energy have I spent in scrutinizing others versus bettering myself? And how can I ensure that I use my time and energy in productive ways versus such useless endeavors as I go forward? This leads into two questions. 1. What can we do to actively prevent ourselves from seeing faults in others? And 2, what do we do when we are seeing faults in others? Let us look at the first question. How do we proactively prevent ourselves from seeing faults in others? We can preoccupy ourselves with finding our own shortcomings and working on them. As Ali ibn Abi Talib, cousin, son-in-law, and companion of the Islamic prophet Muhammad said, "Blessed is he whose own faults keep him from seeing the faults of others." Next is the question: while taking proactive measures, how can we most productively respond if we are seeing faults in others? Swami Vivekananda says that we see what we have inside of us. Whenever we notice something good around us, it is because we have that same goodness inside of us, and therefore it resonates with us. Similarly, whenever we notice something not so good around us, it is because we have that same not so goodness inside of us, and therefore it also resonates with us. So, whenever we notice ourselves finding fault in someone else, we can ask ourselves where inside of us we have that same exact fault. And then we can try to work on improving that fault. For instance, if I notice jealousy in someone else, I want to understand that I am only able to recognize jealousy around me because I have jealousy inside of me too. With that awareness, I can work to get rid of that jealousy. Holy Mother then tells us, learn to make the world your own. No one is a stranger, my child. The whole world is your own. Many of us have heard the story of how our Holy Mother saw the same divinity in Amjad, a bandit, and Swami Sharadananda, a Swami, and fed them with the same love and care. Holy Mother expanded her heart to not only see herself as her own, her local community as her own, but everyone as her own. When we expand ourselves so as to not only identify with our body, and are therefore able to feel for other bodies, we decrease the likelihood that we will feel jealousy or hatred towards someone else. For example, if we can feel for another body, then instead of feeling jealous of someone else, we can feel and enjoy their happiness. This provides a conducive environment for us to feel positive, expansive feelings versus negative, limiting feelings, and therefore leads to peace. On top of this, when we practice not identifying with only our body and mind, we are practicing detaching ourselves from our body and mind, and therefore are coming closer to our real nature. This also leads to peace from the many things related to our body and mind that can lead to unease. Additionally, Holy Mother's instructions for peace are all within our hands to practice. We may sometimes think that because of X people, Y events, and Z responsibilities, we don't have any peace of mind. However, Holy Mother empowers us with a mindset that allows us to take the reins of our peace into our own hands. In fact, the reins of our peace, of how we feel inside of ourselves, can only be inside of our hands. It is us who may have dropped these reins, and now may be blaming others for holding the reins to our peace. Swami Vivekananda discusses this idea in his poem, titled No One to Blame. The title itself sheds light on the fact that there is no one else to hold responsible for what we are experiencing. Swami Vivekananda writes in one of the stanzas, "Each day, my life I make or mar. Each deed begets its kind. Good, good, bad, bad. The tide once set, no one can stop or stem. No one but me to blame." Swami Vivekananda highlights how every deed is going to have a reciprocal impact on us. And we are the ones solely responsible for this. When we think a loving thought, we are planting a flower inside of our head. When we think a bad thought, we are planting a weed inside of our head. We can choose to think so many good thoughts and say and do so many good things and make our heads a beautiful garden that we can happily live in and enjoy. When we have clarity that it is up to us to plant and nurture these flowers, we can better work towards growing this garden inside our heads. When we instead begin placing blame or refusing to take responsibility, we are preventing ourselves from an opportunity to enjoy that garden that could be inside of us. The question leads, if peace is so simple, why aren't we all practicing this? Choosing to take responsibility for our peace is challenging because it's not the path of least resistance. It is easier for us to let life happen to us and to complain about it than to stand up and say that we are going to choose to think a certain way, regardless of how the currents around us are flowing. Holy Mother's teachings empower us to intentionally pursue peace. I hope and pray that we can all take Holy Mother's teachings to heart and, in the spirit of spiritual development, cease finding faults in others, work on improving our own faults, and serve all lovingly as our own. Hari Om.
Very good. What a nice symposium we heard this afternoon, getting into evening. It is, one has to reflect on all these very pertinent, beautiful points that can help us. Holy Mother as a guru, a teacher of that supreme capability of inner communion, finding the rapport with the disciples uh, without knowing their language also. Just in the afternoon, we were watching a video of Holy Mother's visit to Bangalore, and there we saw this incident repeatedly. The same similar incidents happened at Chennai as well, the Madras, that people came to see Holy Mother. She didn't know their language, but her ways of communication transcended the need for language. This is a very important phenomena that, see, a baby uh, communicates with the mother without knowing or using a language that we are familiar with. The baby doesn't know English or French or say Bengali or whatever, the baby is not understanding any language, and yet mother can understand everything because there is the inner current, that rapport is there. through that rapport, you see, the understanding comes. And then it is easy to communicate. As we become, grosser and grosser in our understanding, we feel that the words, the spoken words, are essential for imparting teachings. That is why in college and all, the teachers are sometimes called lecturers. They have to give lectures, uh, to communicate. But it is what our maths professor is here. Then that another professor, Yona, she is also there. So what do? We give lectures, write things. It is words, and we feel that without these words, how can the communication happen? Uh, Holy Mother is the answer, that the teachings would get imparted without the means of this external language. The internal communication is so powerful. That is what, when I first read about it, that verse from Dakshinamurti Stotra of Shankaracharya, where he says that, well, that Guru is a youthful, young age Guru, is sitting under a banyan tree, and there are all the grown up or aged disciples sitting around him. And how the Guru is teaching? Gurostu maunam vyakhyanam. This silence is the lecture or the teaching mode of the Guru. And then what? The disciples didn't get anything? No, Shishyastu Chinna Samshayaha. All the doubts of the disciples just vanished. So, Holy Mother had that ability, that can communicate with everyone in spite of not having any understanding of the particular language. Even when she knew the language of, say, Bengali disciples of her, she didn't have to use that. That was superfluous. She would use the words, but then the content was deliverable even without the use of words. So that is how Holy Mother could impart the teachings. Also, she could change the flow of the mind of the students or the devotees, because that is what is the obstacle. The mind's current is going towards the world which is impermanent. uh, to turn it from the impermanent to permanent, it is just a U-turn, our brain has to be, the brain chemistry has to be changed. Our Adishwarananji used to say like that spiritual life is reversing the brain chemistry. So it is like that. And Holy Mother had that tremendous ability. I just mentioned one incident, that one disciple comes to her and says, "Oh, Mother, I cannot stop having lustful thoughts." And Holy Mother said, "Okay, now think of a lustful thought." He could not. He could not, even after trying, he could not. Because that was the power of Holy Mother, that it won't let your minds drift in the wrong direction. She had that tremendous power to bring that change in the disciples' minds, which was not really perceived, that the mechanism was not perceived by the disciples, but it was done. It is one nice thing that she tells, very important. That well, it is. I don't know what spiritual practice I am doing, and how will that realization come. I am not. So she gives a nice example. Suppose you are sleeping on your bedstead, and then while you are asleep, somebody picks up your bed and carries somewhere else. You will not know, you will wake up in another place. Mm. So that is how the teachings of the Guru, they will, you are, without being, you are conscious of it, they will transport you to that a very different place. You have to just hold on to those teachings. So, very good. So, to study Holy Mother as Guru is so important, so beneficial. It is. Then what a beautiful talk it was to study the connection between Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother. It is really impossible to explain it much. It is, one can feel it, cannot really explain. It is beyond that. It is, we see that they are one and yet different. The Holy Mother is that Swami Abhedananda. Actually, this part of the hymn is by Swami Sardananda. That Yathagner Dahika Shakti Ramakrishna Sthita Hiya, like the fire and its burning power. The fire, what does it do? It burns. So, the fire and the burning power, can anybody ever separate them? It is so exactly like that. Holy Mother and Sri Ramakrishna, they are connected, united. That is why Sri Ramakrishna says, Holy Mother is my power. It is, Holy Mother was thus entrusted. Gradually, people understood, it was uh, uh, initially Ramakrishna mission was averse to projecting Holy Mother's, pictures, or uh, giving lectures on Holy Mother in public, because they thought that who will understand her. Then, when came the centenary time of Holy Mother in 1953, they thought that we will have it on a small scale within ourselves. Yeah, it is, because people will not understand Holy Mother. But lo and behold, one Swami who was involved in that arrangement, he exclaimed, "We fools, we were thinking that we are arranging. Holy Mother herself was arranging everything." Such a grand celebration was therefore came to being, came to happen for the centenary of Holy Mother celebration. So see how that's both these ideals, they unite. And we also learnt about how to get peace. Very beautifully it was presented, that yes, uh, Holy Mother said we get into the habit of fault finding. It is becomes a habit, and then you get those faults yourself, because you are contemplating on those faults unconsciously. What you meditate on, that gets into you. One of our swamis, who had at that time just joined the order, so he knew Marathi language. He was Marathi speaking as such. His mother tongue was that, but he lived in other places, so was not very well conversant with it. So he used to pronounce uh, in a funny way, so a little mistaken way. So myself and other used to tease him that it is making that pronunciation. He was kind of unperturbed, but he said in a warning tone, "Hey, see, you are imitating me, mind. You will also start speaking like me." And lo and behold, one day I started speaking like him, and oh, that is how, by trying to find faults, that becomes a habit. Those faults of somebody else, they become my faults. So, therefore, it is important not to get into that bad habit. It is find your own faults. She made a very nice point. Sometimes we find faults of others to camouflage our own faults. That is how a common argument I hear always. Suppose somebody is being pointed out, hey, this is, what do you mean? That other fellow did worse than me. That other fellow was doing like that, like that, like that. Now, what is the point there? That others' faults are more glaringly painted. Then, on that background, I look good. That is a wrong way of making yourself look good. And instead of making us good, we paint others in worse colors. So, on that background, then I come out in shining colors. So that is how the psychology unfortunately works. So this is how, friends, we can say that we will get peace. And this is something that we can actually practically experiment and experience. See, don't find faults with others, and then you will be surprised how peaceful you become. It is one can easily experience that. Vedanta is an experimental science. Do it and experience it. So you can see that here. So thank you. My heartfelt thanks to all these wonderful young speakers, and let us uh, take that message to heart and move forward towards the ultimate peace that we all want. That is why we say Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now I will read the closing prayer, and then we will have the Sarada Nam Sankirtanam. Today, that will, and then there will be prasad distribution in the basement. So, next week, we have another very important function coming up. Coming Sunday is the Christmas. So, we shall discuss the message of Jesus, uh, Jesus, the uncompromising teacher of truth. Also on 24th, that is Saturday, it is Christmas Eve, that in our order we specially observe this because it has a deep connection. I am not going to tell you right now. I will hold it as suspense. You are all invited for that. So it is the 24th evening at 7 o'clock. So Tuesday, Friday classes will go on as usual. So now I will read out the closing prayer. Please join the closing prayers. May the divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahur Mazda of the Zoroastrian, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Shall I give you this to you? That will be better. Huh? What microphone Peter is using? Yeah, this one is for Peter. Yeah. And this has its own speaker. So ध्यायेत् हृदम्बुजे देवीं तरुणारुणविग्रहां वराभयकरां शान्तां स्मितोत्फुल्लमुखाम्बुजाम् स्थलपद्मप्रतीकाश पादाम्भोज सुशोभनां शुक्लाम्बरधरां धीरां लज्जापटविभूषिताम् प्रसन्नां धर्मकामार्थ मोक्षदां विश्वमङ्गलां स्वनाथवामभागस्थां भक्तानुग्रहकारिणी ॐ सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपिण्यै श्रीशारदा देव्यै नमः। त्वं मे ब्रह्म सनातनी मां शारदयीश्वरि सुभगे मां त्वं मे ब्रह्म सनातनी मां शारदयीश्वरि सुभगे मां ब्रह्मानन्दस्वरूपिणि मां ब्रह्मशक्तिसुखदायिनि मां सच्चित्सुखमयरूपिणि मां सृष्टिस्थितिलयकारिणि मां ब्रह्मसुधां बुद्धिकेलिनि मां ब्रह्मात्मैक्यशुभङ्करि मां जीवेश्वरभित् कौतुकी मां अगाधलीलारूपिणि मां त्वं मे ब्रह्म सनातनी मां शारदयीश्वरि सुभगे मां चिन्मयरूपविलासिनि मां बहिरान्तरसुखवर्धिनि मां ज्ञानानन्दप्रवर्षिणि मां दिव्यरसामृतवर्षिणि मां मूलाधारनिवासिनि मां सहस्रार शिव संगिनि मां आद्ये शक्तिस्वरूपिणि मां चित्तिसुखदायिनि तारिणि मां त्वं मे ब्रह्म सनातनि मां शारदईश्वरि सुभगे मां शुभमतिदायिनि शाङ्करि मां दुर्गति दुर्मति नाशिनि मां महाकालहृदिनर्तिनि मां जीव शिवान्तरवर्तिनि मां जगज्जननि जयदायिनि मां तडिल्लसितसौदामिनि मां सीतारामा कारिणि मां कृष्णराधिकारूपिणि मां त्वं मे ब्रह्म सनातनि मां शारदईश्वरि सुभगे मां कमनीयाकृतिधारिणि मां भवसागरभयहारिणि मां शान्तिसौख्यचिरदायिनि मां शान्तिमहागुणवर्षिणि मां कान्तिवराभयदायिनि मां गिरिशाङ्कोपरिवासिनि मां हरार्धनारी रूपिणि मां नटनमहेश्वरसङ्गिनि मां त्वं मे ब्रह्म सनातनि मां शारदईश्वरि सुभगे मां हर हर्षोत्करि नर्तिनि मां शारदेश्वरि षोडशि मां साधकमानसशोधिनि मां सर्वसुभाग्यप्रसादिनि मां गुहगजमुखजनिदायिनि मां एकानेकविभागिनि मां हिमगिरिनन्दिनि लासिनि मां सर्वचराचरसर्जिनि मां त्वं मे ब्रह्म सनातनि मां शारदईश्वरि सुभगे मां सर्वभवामयवारिणि मां सर्वजगत्त्रयसाक्षिणि मां निखिलाधीश्वरि योगिनि मां एलागन्धसुकेशिनि मां चिन्मयसुन्दररूपिणि मां परमानन्दतरङ्गिणि मां रम्यकान्तिचिरधारिणि मां भूषिणि मां मे सद्गतिसन्मतिदायिनि मां भवतारिणि करुणेश्वरि मां त्रिपुरे सुन्दरि मोहिनि मां ब्रह्माण्डोदरधारिणि मां प्रेमानन्दप्रवर्षिणि मां सर्वचराचरपालिनि मां भुवनचतुर्दशप्रसविनि मां नानालीलाकारिणि मां त्वं मे ब्रह्म सनातनि मां तार विविध विभूति विधारिणि मां ज्ञानालोकप्रदायिनि मां विश्वक्रीडा कौतुकी मां विश्वाधिष्ठितचिन्मयी मां मन्दस्मितस्मरहारिणि मां भक्तानुग्रहकारिणि मां योगभोगवरदायिनि मां शान्तिसुधानिस्यन्दिनि मां त्वं मे ब्रह्म सनातनि मां शारदयीश्वरि सुभगे मां भ्रान्तिरोगविषहारिणि मां कान्तियोगसुखदायिनि मां वीरनरेन्द्रप्रहर्षिणि मां समाधिचिरचित्तिदायिनि मां वीर्यबलाभयकारिणि मां तापत्रयभयहारिणि मां सर्वोत्तुङ्गसुवासिनि मां प्रसन्नवरदे भैरवि मां त्वं मे ब्रह्म हवन जपार्चन साधिनि मां चण्डासुरखलघातिनि मां सकल देव जय साधिनि मां दुष्टमुण्डवधकारिणि मां चामुण्डेश्वरि दर्पिणि मां माहिषदर्पविनाशिनि मां माहेश्वर सुखवर्धिनि मां महिषासुरखलमर्दिनि मां त्वं मे ब्रह्म सनातनि मां शारदयीश्वरि सुभगे मां त्रिगुणत्रिलोकत्रिरूपिणि मां निर्गुणसगुणविचेत्रिणि मां कारितध्यानानन्दिनि मां दर्पणचित्तविभासिनि मां चेतोदर्पणकाशिनि मां नवनवरूपसुदर्शनि मां समस्तलोकोद्धारिणि मां रामकृष्ण नवरूपिणि मां त्वं मे ब्रह्म सनातनि मां शारदयीश्वरि सुभगे मां धर्मग्लानिविनाशिनि मां धर्मस्थापनकारिणि मां रम्यसहजपथदर्शिनि मां मातृभावसुखशोधिनि मां निर्मलभक्तोत्कर्षिणि मां दिव्याद्भुतचरितार्थिनि मां रामकृष्ण सहधर्मिणि मां जय रामाख्यसुवाटिनि मां त्वं मे ब्रह्म सनातनि मां शारदयीश्वरि सुभगे मां मृगकेसरि वरवाहिनि मां दुर्गहिमाचलनन्दिनि मां नरेन्द्रहृदयनिवासिनि मां लोकोत्तरकृतिदर्शिनि मां सुन्दररूपविकासिनि मां दिव्यगुणाकरधारिणि मां दुर्बलसबलसुकारिणि मां दुःखदैन्यभयनाशिनि मां त्वं मे ब्रह्म सनातनि मां सर्वभूतहित साधिनी मां, समस्त लोका भयकरी मां, दुर्गति नाशिनी दुर्गे मां, नारायणी जगदाद्ये मां। जय 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 जगदाद्ये मां, नारायणी जय दुर्गे मां। जय 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 जगदाद्ये मां, नारायणी जय दुर्गे मां। जय 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 जगदाद्ये मां, नारायणी जय दुर्गे मां। जय 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 जगदाद्ये मां, नारायणी जय दुर्गे मां। जय 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 जगदाद्ये मां, नारायणी जय दुर्गे मां। जय 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 जगदाद्ये मां, नारायणी जय दुर्गे मां। त्वं मे ब्रह्म सनातनी मां, शारद ईश्वरी सुभगे मां। यथाग्नेर्दाहिका शक्ति, रामकृष्णे स्थिता हिया, सर्वविद्यास्वरूपां तां, शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। So friends, let us now proceed to the basement for the prasad supper. Let us say grace here. Can you put the grace on? In a minute it will be displayed. ॐ ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्महविर् ब्रह्माग्नौ ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यं ब्रह्मकर्म समाधिना। हरि ओम तत्सत्। ओम शांति शांति शांति। O Lord, please accept our offering. Bless us, make us pure and all loving. May we not accuse, demand, or complain, but love, respect, and cooperate with all. May we not find faults with others, but try to find our own faults. May we not treat others as strangers, but learn to make all our own. May we feel the whole world to be our own. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. This prayer you can recollect. This is just bringing together this message of Holy Mother that don't treat anybody as stranger, but learn to make all our own. And this was called, brought together by Swami Sarvagatananji, who was the head of Providence as well as Boston Center for a long time. So it was he who took it out from the Holy Mother's message, and then at many centers this is recited after saying the customary Brahmarpanam Brahma. And it is today on the Holy Mother's birthday occasion. It is very important to remember this. So, thank you, friends. Please proceed to the basement. There may be a few minutes to eat, because somebody might be doing the preparation there to arrange. See, Jyoti, if there is, yeah, run, run, run. Teresa, run.